Good evening, Team Hot to Trot. I am Melissa Wittenborn. I am your coach for the JuvaFit Quest in the early part of 2026, and I am so excited. I have some exciting things to share, and I'm hoping that you're keeping the focus. We had a conversation last week about worthiness and how you're worthy of making good choices for yourself. And I hope you're doing your affirmations in front of the mirror saying, I am hot. I look great. I am worthy of making fantastic choices for myself. And the funny thing is, you don't even have to believe anything that falls out of your mouth, but if you're verbalizing it and it gets into your ears, it goes into your subconscious and it really does change your life. I'm living proof that that works. So this week is starting week number 4, if you can believe it. We are almost halfway through this challenge. And I don't know about anybody else, but I had a little rough start the first couple of weeks, but I'm kind of ebbing into it and just doing much, much better. So, our move of the week is reverse lunges, and I wanted to take a moment to let you know that you need to be very cognizant of how your knee and your feet are lining up when you step backwards like that and going back up. So, don't go for 50 in a minute or whatever. Just make sure that you're just doing it very methodically for 1 minute because the speed doesn't matter as much as the way that you're doing it for the full benefit. And the moves of the week are always beneficial to you because they address more than one part of your body. So I would encourage you to fight for the move of the week. I am doing it next to my kitchen counter because I want to make sure that I don't lose any balance when I'm starting to bend that knee and stepping backward because we don't want injuries. So be very aware of your body placement and the plane and that your hips are forward and all that good stuff. So the move of the week is reverse lunges. The JuvaFit call this week talked about it talked about what do we talk about? I've forgotten. Do you
Don't
remember?
look at me, I don't remember. You have a better memory than I. I listened to
So
the
they
ending
talked
of it, but
about
I don't.
I think they talked about well no, they talked about sugars last week. Anyways, the JuvaFit commit call is always a good call on and helps to educate about how you can help yourself with the different challenges. So make sure that you watch that because you get point just for watching it, even if you don't remember what they talked about, which is a terrible thing. I am taking a moment here because I am embarrassed. I'm usually much more organized in this. They did talk about committing to yourself and just making sure that you're watching carb intake because that impacts sugar and that impacts heart health. So you want to be very cognizant of your food choices and
I mean, mainly what I got out of the call was commitment. That's what I remembered.
was what?
Commitment, like Diana
Commitment.
was
Yes, I think they
talking
really
about,
spent a lot of time talking about commitment
and upping your
because,
movement a little bit, doing a little
yeah,
bit
Diana,
more,
say that again.
doing just a little bit more, you know.
Right. Oh, I know. They talked about fit. That's what they talked about. HIIT and FIIT. So just push yourself just a little bit more each and every week.
Mhm.
And I have been doing that myself. And I went to the doctor today and I have lost 2.5 pounds in the last 3 weeks. So
Yay, I'm
that made me
impressed.
happy. And it's not because I have a reasonably good diet. I'm still tracking and I'm still trying to find the right ratio, but what I'm finding is that I am getting more fat, less protein, and minimal carbs. So it's trending in the right direction. I haven't perfected it yet, but I've got it down pretty pat, but what I've been doing differently the last 2 weeks, because we just started week 4, the last 2 weeks, the only thing I've done differently is I have started doing some stretching, some yoga, and some light weights. And I'm talking like less than 3 pounds, 3 pounds or less, and bands. So building your strength and doing like different sorts of exercises does help your metabolism. I verified this with my new physician today. As we age and we lose those wonderful hormones that put us on a roller coaster, and then we age, and then our hormones kind of flatlines us with our emotion, but it also causes the lack of estrogen and progesterone causes us to have some belly fat, and a lot of us have that. I know I do. And I learned from another doctor that I follow on Instagram that when your body kind of flatlines with the hormones and you're like, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm doing all these things and nothing's working. They said that if you do commit to strength training a few times a week, and it only has to be maybe 15 to 30 minutes a few times a week,
Right.
that it tricks the body into thinking it has hormone and it amplifies your metabolism. So I'd like to think that my focus of building my strength and everything has really helped me to kind of get the metabolism going again, because it's not that I wasn't doing enough movement, but sometimes you need different types of movement. The other thing that Travis talked about on the JuvaFit call is not to do the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
So if you are a person who likes to walk all the time, maybe you go to your senior center and you have a dancing uh, day, one of those days. It's still movement. Or maybe you decide that you're going to march in place for part of your walk. Or maybe you're going to march if you're walking outside, just march 20 steps and stop marching. When I was doing my walks after my dog died, is more difficult if you have a dog, but I was kind of, putting my arms out and doing this and doing movement while I'm walking.
Right.
So you can do things to kind of mix it up, and that pushes you to the next level and it confuses your body so that your body is understanding that you're working out. So I think that was an important message that was given this week now that it's come back to me. And I thought that was a great message for us to have. So make sure that you're doing movement, but mix it up. Even if you turn your TV on and just dance for a few minutes here and there. Or like what Travis talked about a few weeks ago, if you have a carb and you want to flatline that glucose spice that he showed on that one slide, then stand in front of the TV and bebop a little bit. And even if you can't stand up and you're sitting, you can do a lot of things seated. One of the classes that I'm going to at the senior center is called Sit and Fit Boot Camp. And it is a boot kicking boot camp. And we never stand up.
It's amazing.
So we march. You can do seated jumping jacks, which I did when I had my foot injury. You can do toe touches, so you can put your stomach in and do that. We do all sorts of things like that. We pretend like we're chopping wood and we put our legs out and then together and then out and together. And so there are lots of movements that you can do seated. So if you have an injury and you're feeling very frustrated, and I understand that, you want to make sure that you're doing some sort of movement. Even if you do chicken clucks or whatever. It's movement. And it also helps to build different muscles within your body. If you have bands, you can start out with bands and then maybe move to stronger bands. But there's a way to track your progress. So hopefully you're tracking, hopefully you're committed to this challenge and you're committed to seeing a different version of yourself. So what I would like to do before we close out the call is to discuss what you've learned about yourself in these first 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks. What have you learned, and what is now kind of a given in your day-to-day choices, Michelle?
Well, a few things for me in the last month. I've doubled my VO2 score in my health part of my watch and my health app in my Apple. And what I've been doing is um, Dr. Vonda White Wright. She's an orthopedic surgeon, and she talks about menopause and bone health and just health for older women. She recommends 80% of your activity should be in zone two. So I've been trying to up my pace a little bit in my walking, but then 20% kind of go all out, like go all out for 30 seconds and then stop. 40 seconds, right? Whether that's on your bicycle, stationary bicycle, or swimming or jogging in place. For me, it's a little bit of sprint on the treadmill or down the street. But obviously, if you're not able to do that on the treadmill or on the street, there's lots of ways. The rowing machine, whatever you're using to get your 80%, whatever is your go-to for that day, a couple times a week, just get these little bitty, get four of them in a 30-minute time frame, not anything. And I walk a lot, but I kind of dilly dally along. And so I'm trying to just up my pace a little bit to see my body's so used to walking. I've been doing it with our father since I was a girl, right? So walking, I can just like not get my heart rate up. So I'm trying to just go a little bit faster, depending on my pain and how that's working for the day. And then get those little, not every day, but just like twice a week, doing those 40 seconds four different times
So
throughout a
what have you
20-minute.
noticed, other than your commitment to that? What have you noticed about doing that for yourself?
Well, my heart, my VO2 score literally has doubled. And I've done a lot of cardio, playing tennis, bike riding in the last year. But this particular thing, adding it, I'm watching different health components on my health app improve. So my body is liking that. I'm trying to get to lifting twice. Ideally, I'd love three times, but I'm just busy. So twice a week. And then do free weights once. So I'm doing more machines and barbell work those two times a week. So just getting stronger. I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my granddaughter, and I did last weekend. And I need to be strong to lift her and not get injured, and do a plank so that I can get up from the floor and,
Right,
get up and down
right.
and play and do all the things that we need to do to be
Perfect,
mobile. So I think for me, it's been the strength. The eating hasn't been perfect. It's not been terrible, but not perfect. Um, when I track, it helps.
perfect.
I hate it so much, but if
I
I do it,
understand.
I do it. I get results. If I
I
don't track, I
understand.
don't get results. So I can do all the different cardio things in the world, but if I'm not tracking, I'm
Well,
not getting
last week
results.
I tracked even when I had crappy days
So
of
you're really
eating
good about doing that. I'll just be like, oh, I'm
because
not tracking today.
I'm really trying to hold myself accountable. And when I see that I've got a lot of those carbs, it's like, okay, but what about the prior 2 days and what about the next 2 days? Because I'm trying to look at it as an overall picture because I like perfection and I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be perfect, but I like perfection. And so what I'm learning is that I can have that day, but by golly, I better be focused on not having that day the next 2 days. So sometime you might fall off track. So I'm not saying show yourself grace, but if you fall off track because you forgot to write it down and then, something came up in life, which happens, it happens to all of us, then just make sure that you're telling yourself, okay, I'm back on track now because life is going to have the ups and downs, just like your glucose is going to have your ups and downs,
Yep.
just like your health, just like everything else. So what we want to do is try to flatten that curve so that it's less and less uh, sinful, if you will. So what I've learned about myself is that what I've been missing all this time is truly the strength training. I have built up to 3 pounds, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but I've had some shoulder issues for quite a few years. And so that's a big deal. And so I'm going to this boot camp in a senior citizen center. You can laugh if you want, but it's really a great workout. And um, they do exercises more quickly than I like to do because I really want to make sure that I'm sitting up and that my abdominals are in line, that my knees are in line with my feet, because I've had so many injuries. If you do something too fast, like a sit up or something, that can cause you to be injured, and you'll still get the same benefit if you just move a little bit more slowly and you're very cognizant of where your body is in a space.
Right.
So I'm learning a lot about that. My balance has improved. That's another commitment that I made to myself this year. I pushed myself. I found the senior citizens level 1 and 2 yoga that I was going to every Wednesday. I posted it in our Facebook group, and I stretched myself and went to level 3 yesterday, which was all standing yoga. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing this. And this morning I got up and went, okay, I'm feeling it. And
That's good.
that's a lot of personal strength because you have to have some strength in order to balance on one side of your body or the other. I've always been less able to balance on my right side than my left because I am right side dominant. And so that's not unusual, but it's challenging me. And so that's what I'm liking about it. So I think this week, the word we want to take forward is challenge, and challenge yourself, like what Michelle was talking about, and just doing that. And even if you normally walk with your arms down low and you start doing this will
Mhm.
get your heart rate up,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to walk any faster, just moving your arms differently or doing this or doing this. This will get your heart rate up. So you can do all sorts of crazy things to do that 30 seconds, and set a timer on your phone and click 40 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever, and just see if you can just push it a little bit more, because I think some of us, I'll speak for myself. I know I have shown myself a little bit too much grace these last few challenges. And this challenge is like, no, challenge yourself and get yourself to the next level, because
Right.
the feeling that you'll feel of accomplishing anything is going to be fantastic. The other thing they talked about on the call was Rejuve Plus that we have, that is supposed to be a weight management type of a supplement. Um, Actually, I don't know that it's as much as that, but it does have some nice vitamin B in it. And if you're feeling very inflamed and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're feeling bloated, which I sometimes will feel, that Rejuve Plus is really, really good. It does help to suppress your appetite, but the B vitamin in it helps bring inflammation down in the body. And when you're bringing inflammation down and everything's coming back into center, it's just a lot better.
And Travis really swears by that. That's his go-to Juva product, and he's lost, I know, at least 100 pounds, if
I think
not
he's lost
more.
about 80. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. He's lost
So
a lot of weight.
yeah. So his before and afters are really quite
Right.
shocking. Yeah.
Right. It is. It is. And the other thing is, I hope even if you didn't, when you registered for the JuvaFit Quest, I hope you took pictures of yourself so that you can compare in the middle of March, how did I look at the beginning of January compared to the middle of March? So, hopefully everybody's having a great week. Please keep posting inside our little Hot to Trot page. It motivates me, and I know it motivates other people as well. And there's people that are looking at us, and even though they're not joined officially, they're still kind of participating on the sideline. So I love that about our group. Just keep uplifting each other. And Michelle, what is your challenge going to be this next week?
Um, I know I was sitting here thinking about that. I think that my challenge is going to be, I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about it because I've been challenging myself physically. Um, just keep up with that tracking, maybe. Today,
My challenge
halfway
is
through my walk, I stopped and sat on the park bench and literally did my tracking right there and then kept walking. Because once I get in the house, I get so distracted, like, because I work at home and I know, oh, I'm checking this email and I need to answer this message. But on my walk, it's my time. I wasn't even going to do this challenge because I'm in a very busy season right now. But I thought, no, even if I'm busy, I need to choose myself. It doesn't
right.
matter. So,
Well, what I'm doing this week is I have on my calendar Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for strength training and yoga. And then Friday is going to be dance. That's the way I kind of mix my walking up. And there's going to be no excuses. I'm worth an hour a day to go and do that. It
right.
gets me out. It gets me interacting with other people with like minds. And, they always say that you are the five people that you hang out with. So,
That's so
if you're
true.
surrounded by negative people, you might want to reconsider some of the hanging out pieces. I'm not saying dump your friends or anything, but really and truly just stay focused on yourself because you guys, we are so worth this. And I want us all to win. And even if I wind up with only 2.5 pounds less at the end of this, which I'm hoping that's not the case, but even if it's still a win because I'm still moving in the right direction.
Right.
And it's the little choices that you make every single minute of every single day that you're going to look back at the end of 2026 and go, oh my gosh, look what I did for myself. So
Right.
I want that for all of us. I want that for myself, and I want that for everybody on the team. Final thoughts, Michelle?
I think let's just keep at it. We're in the almost the middle of our challenge. We need to keep our focus, even if there. I think there are times for grace. If it's a bad moment or a bad day, get back on it the next day. Give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up and say, "I'm not finishing this challenge." Just say
Right,
it's a new day.
right,
It's a new
right,
start. Make a plan the night before. The next day, am I going to get up 10 minutes earlier to make sure I get my
right,
move of the weekend? What are you going to do differently for tomorrow if you felt like one day? And I've learned to do that with the Juva challenges because in the past I would have said, well, I'm just not going to do the rest of the challenge. I can't do this right now. No, I'm going to choose me tomorrow. I'm going to choose
right.
me the next day.
Yes, choose yourself every day. The other thing is for myself, I am an emotional eater. And I will find myself talking with somebody that makes me emotionally crazy. And I find myself walking to the refrigerator and I have been opening the door and closing it. It's like, why are you standing in front of the refrigerator?
Right.
And so maybe write down, why you think that might be because, why are you wrecking your progress? So I'm very focused. My health depends on it. And I'm very focused this challenge much more than in the past and things that I normally would say, oh, sure, why not? We only live once.
Right.
Now I'm saying, no, thank you. No, because I feel like I'm worthy of making better choices for myself. And I know I won't regret it a year from now, 2 years from now,
Not
or
at all.
5 years from now. So that's really kind of how you have to look at it. But anyways, great call. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you so very much.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone who's on the team. If you haven't checked in, please, please, please check in. And we'll see you next week, week 5. Have a
Have a
great
great
week.
week,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.